Listen closely to these symptoms: inflammation, nausea, hot flashes, headaches, joint pain, muscle pain, back pain, trouble sleeping, cramps, irritated skin. This is just a partial list, but if you said you have any of those symptoms, you might benefit from the power of CBD. What is CBD? Well, it's all the good taken out of the hemp plant, the marijuana plant, all the good taken out, but none of the bad. Now, you won't get high from it, you won't fail a drug test, but what you will do is find relief from these and many more symptoms. And it comes in a variety of applications. Well, there's oils, there's gummies, there's candies, there's vapes, there's rubs, there's soaks. The list goes on, and as a matter of fact, it's too numerous for me to mention here. But I'll tell you what you do. If you stop in at the Wellness Park Pharmacy, 86th and Buffalo Avenue, see Bob there, tell him you want to look in the green room. What's the green room? Well, it's a room dedicated to all CBD products. And Bob is a registered pharmacist, so he can explain to you how CBD works and what dosage is right for you. Now, you could buy CBDs in other places, but you really want to go to a registered pharmacist. You're going to be surprised and amazed, and you know what? You're going to love this product. CBD. Stop in Wellness Park, 86th and Buffalo Avenue, or call 260-1918. Oh, incidentally, if you have an animal that's suffering too, maybe joint pain or anxiety, CBD products works well for them, and there's some made especially for your animals. You can check that out too in the Wellness Park Green Room. Time to stock up on your warm weather favorites for summertime entertaining, gift giving, and enjoying. Supermarket Liquors and Wines is your headquarters for all the liquors and wines you'll need throughout the season. And you know what? They're open 7 days a week for your convenience, late night Friday, Saturday, and always plenty of cashiers on hand to speed you on your way. You want to find out what their specials are every week? Just check them out online, supermarketliquor.com. They're Niagara's largest liquor store, which means their prices and selection are the best you're going to find. Supermarket Liquors and Wines, Niagara Falls Boulevard, Military Road, just across from the Fashion Outlet Mall. Supermarket Liquors and Wines, where you'll always find plenty of brightly lit free parking in front of the store. And plenty of cashiers on hand to speed you on your way. Supermarket Liquors and Wines.
The opinions expressed on NiagaraBroadcastNetwork.com are those of the host and the guest, not of management or the sponsors.
Lovers know a special place, Niagara Falls. Romance shows on every face in Niagara Falls. Rushing waters tumbling down on jagged rocks below. Swirling cool.
Oh, the beauty of Niagara Falls, especially this time of year. It's nice, it's warm out for a change. We're finally getting some nice weather, and we are approaching the political season. I guess I could say that, the political season?
Yeah.
Bill Carroll's with us. Hi, Bill.
Good morning or afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. So, but everybody is talking about the political season, but I think they're kind of waiting till August to let go with everything.
I think most of the candidates are starting to go out and work door to door and meet people. I don't think the major developments in the news and the ideas that a lot of people in the media are looking for probably won't come out until a little bit later.
Well, we have a major race for mayor in the city. What? You're laughing. Why is that funny? Why are you laughing? Bill is, just let me explain it. Bill is the Republican city chairman.
Correct.
And as the Republican city chairman, what do you do? What does that involve?
Basically, it's about getting people out to vote and to try and put together a coherent strategy that the candidates kind of sign on to and get them elected. The primary job.
Wait a minute, though. Let me ask you, you just said something here that kind of sparked, you're basically here to get people out to vote. Not just you, but I don't think anybody's doing a very good job of that. No, there wasn't hardly anybody that came out for the primary, as far as I'm concerned.
What'd you have, 3,900 people, I think it was, on the Democratic line? And then we had another 1,000 that showed up on the Republican line. So
Yeah,
about-
and how many registered voters could there have been?
You know, I am in dispute of this numbers, but the county list identify, I think it's close to 10,000 registered Democrats and about 5,000 or thereabouts registered Republicans. And then you have conservatives and independents. And then the biggest group of them are people that are no party affiliate. So those people can't even vote in a primary, NOPs.
So what do you think the general's going to bring out? Do you have a feeling?
I suspect it will get to close to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at a crossroads. The city is really at a fundamental crossroad. Calls already?
Yeah. 333-32. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's see. Got Bill Carroll with us. Hi, you're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Mr. Carroll, who are you supporting for council?
Who am I supporting for council? That's an easy question. Thank you. Without any equivocation, I'm backing Kenny Tompkins and John Spanbauer.
Who are you supporting for mayor?
I haven't decided yet. For the first time on Saturday of this week, the executive committee of 7 members of the city Republican GOP met with Glenn, and we interviewed him for probably close to an hour. He presented himself very, very well. There's a lot of passion in him, some interesting ideas. I have some conflicts with it personally with some of his ideas, but we haven't decided. We'll sit down and talk and kind of come to a vote and share it with the county.
He's the only Republican candidate running. What's not to decide?
Well, I think there's a lot of issues on that. There's some people that are concerned about the fact that he's been a Republican for less than 24 months. That bothers some people.
Are you looking at Bobby Rustino
No.
as a Democrat?
No,
Not at all.
not at all.
So you would leave your mayor slot open because he was a Republican, and he actually has been more than 24 months. He switched to Republican when he ran when the Democrats turned his back on
I
him.
personally am not going to leave anything open. I'll present it to the committee and let the committee make the endorsement, and we'll forward it to the county.
You know, honestly, when a candidate runs, when multiple candidates run, okay, that's when you go for your interview. Now, did you do interviews for the council?
Yes,
And you interviewed
everyone.
Spanbauer, and who else?
Kenny, Candace Casero.
And you endorsed who?
We only endorsed Kenny.
Okay, because he was a sitting councilman. Which
Correct.
is a smart move.
We have a policy that we wrote into our organizational charter.
That's a good move. I agree with that. But I don't agree that you're not supporting the only Republican candidate running for mayor. There should be no thought about this. He's our candidate. We have no other candidate to reach out to. All
I
right?
agree. I'm not disputing there's no other candidate to reach out to.
Now, there was a report in the pipeline that you corrected, that you were out campaigning for Bobby Rustino.
That was a crap load of you-know-what.
Exactly right. All right. But to me, if you want to put the issue to rest, come out and say Glenn Chilokee is our candidate for mayor, then you have a good opportunity to pick up 3 major spots, 2 seats. Because I think you'll get to 2 seats. And you got a shot for the mayor, especially this year, because you have actually 4 people on the ballot, and Rustino only won by 129 votes. So I think you put the question to rest and say, gentlemen, we have one candidate for mayor, as Glenn Chilokee. Let's go out and support him, and let's win this seat.
Joe, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If we went to the committee and the committee put forward a vote, and I don't know this question, so it's totally rhetorical, and there's 41 members of the committee, and let's say it came back 22-21 or 22-20 to endorse, would that be a good thing or a bad?
I think it's as the chairman, you need to tell your executive committee, you need to agree upon it. He is our candidate. Wouldn't like him or not, he is our candidate. Let's face it, the Republicans or the Democrats didn't support Bobby Rustino. They were going to endorse Seth Ficarello. But Seth lost, now they have to get on board and support Bobby Rustino because he's their candidate.
Yep, they have to walk it back. I agree.
That's your party and that's your candidate. Okay, Glenn, you're our candidate. I have nobody else running as a Republican. You are a man. Let's win. Let's work on getting you elected. I don't know. I just think that's the most logical thing, especially because I think you're going to pick up the 2 seats. So you're going to have technically 3 councilmen, all right, up there, and you got a good shot for a mayor. That's going to be unheard of in Niagara Falls.
Oh, I agree. I mean, there's no question about it. Taking the majority and then electing a Republican mayor, and I got to admit, that's enticing. But I'm one voice, and here's what I want to answer the question that I asked you rhetorically. What I would do is then, if it passed 22-20, or 21-20, I should say, pardon me, I would go back to the committee and say, all right, I'd like to make this a unanimous endorsement, simply to make it unanimous. But we will discuss it. We haven't had that meeting yet. We just met with him on Saturday.
You know, and when I was on the Democratic committee years ago, all right, we had multiple candidates, and people were split. And you're not going to please everybody, but we had multiple Democrats running.
That is a very true statement. You won't please everybody.
Right, but you have multiple people running. When you only have one person running as a Republican, and he switched a few years back, it was more than 2 years ago, he ran as a Democratic, and the Democrats turned their back on him on the endorsement, and that's when he switched to Republican and ran the Republican line.
We asked him that question, and one of the statements he made that I agreed with, and it was an interesting element. There was a number of people in the room that were socially very conservative. Situationally, I'm not a social conservative in a lot of ways. I am economically extremely conservative. There were some people there that said I could identify with his social needs. However, there were also some people that were talking about his economic positioning, his fiscal policy, they had concerns about.
What other shot do you have? Who else do you have?
We don't have anybody.
So that means it's Glenn or nobody.
It's Glenn or bust. I would agree with that assessment.
So you would elect to go nobody if you guys don't support Glenn Chalokia.
I'm sorry, what?
So you would elect to go nobody.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I'm going to put it in front of I'm going to put it in front of the entire committee.
When you walked out of your executive committee, how was your feeling? How did you feel about
me personally?
Yeah.
Glenn's charming. There were a lot of.
Glenn, you know what? Glenn's a straight shooter.
I'm not debating that. Some of the things that he said, I was totally in support of. There were some things that he said, and I tend to follow up on this, by the way, but there were some things that he said that I was concerned about. The trolley, for example. I happen to think that the trolley is a major beneficiary and a major asset for the city. And the Discover Niagara trolley.
Yeah, that's so do I. I think it's a very good asset to the city of Niagara Falls because the money's coming from bed tax money.
That's correct.
And other communities too. The host of your show don't agree with it, but
I think the trolley's a waste. It's taking people out of the area.
But it's also bringing people in.
And we're spending, how many? Not many.
It's bringing people in from 4 Mile Creek. I tell you, it's bringing people. Here's what's happening, and I can speak to this from personal experience or what I've been doing this summer. It is establishing a broader footprint for the city of Niagara Falls for people to look at, to get down to Fort Niagara.
But the majority of the people come here to see the falls. They come to Niagara Falls, and then the trolley takes them somewhere else to spend their money.
But they bring it back. They bring them back.
I'm not here to
I'm not going to debate that either, but...
So Glenn wasn't in favor of the trolley?
He made a comment that concerned me, and I tend to follow up with him specifically to ask him about that.
Because the reason I'm looking at it is because he's the only guy on the Republican line running.
That's correct.
And you have a really good opportunity to pick up the 2 seats, could actually control the city government. Because if he gets elected, he has a good chance because, let's face it, you got technically 4 people on that ballot. Now, you may get people still voting for Seth, and the other guy, like Miles, was it
Elder.
Okay, who knows what he's going to draw. So there's really a good chance that Glenn could pull this thing out.
I'm not disputing that at all. I think he has a viable option. I think your opinion's right.
And I think as a Republican chairman, you got your executive committee and your committee say, listen, are we in this to take control of the city? You throw your personal agreements out the door. You're a Republican. This is our party. He's a candidate. All right? We have to live with him, live by the sword. All right? Now, listen, this is an opportunity that's unheard of in Niagara Falls, Republican mayor. It only happened 2 other times. All right? And they were unsuccessful. I think you got a good chance with a successful candidate in Glenn working with everybody. I know Glenn's hard-nosed. I don't agree 100% on Glenn's ideas, but he is your Republican candidate. I think you put the bed to rest and say, he's our candidate, we're going to support him, and that's the committee has to abide by it. That's the way it is.
Joe, I'll put your, and I'll have you come in and make you can make the motion. Put your.
Well, I can't because I'm a registered Democrat. You got guys like Mike Gowell supporting Rustino and everything else, and they got to stop that.
You know, there's a lot of rumors running around about people. I mean, me and that damn wagon thing.
Well, he had Rustino signs up on his mother's lawn, on the line, so they don't put signs up unless Mike puts them up. But
he did? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he's on his mother's lawn. I've known Mike Gowell all my life. All right, and I used to live next door about 27th Street. His parents had to sign up for Rustino right away, and that's fine. But you have to support your candidate and your party's candidate, and he's your party's candidate, not Bobby Rustino. Who went to the fundraiser from the Republican committee? Anybody?
Oh yeah, it was well attended.
Well attended?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you there?
Oh, was I there? Yes, of course I was.
You were there?
At which one?
Well, I know you were Rustino. I'm talking about.
No, I didn't go to Rustino's fundraiser.
You went there at the opening.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even know that was a fundraiser. I showed up there. I was invited, and I went. If Seth had invited me, I would have gone.
It was your first day in politics? You know it was a fundraiser?
No, I didn't. I didn't take a check.
Were you at Glenn's fundraiser last week?
No, I was out of town, so I sent a check, and I had somebody go on my behalf.
Oh, that's all right then. As long as you support him.
I was at his first fundraiser, though.
Okay. As long as you support him that way, I think you need to come on down and verbally say he's our candidate.
Well, you're not going to get me to say it today because I haven't talked to the committee about it, so we'll do that.
You can make history on Sal's show. You can come out.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe, why don't you come on Sal's show?
I've invited him.
Have you?
Yeah.
Across the street.
I'll come over and pick you up.
I'm not going to walk across the street and sweat.
I told you, I'll come pick you up.
He has no air conditioning in there.
No, I know it. I'm dying.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. I'll talk to you.
We're at 333-3020. We're with Bill Carrol, the Republican chairman. So you're saying you're going back to the committee.
Correct.
Who is the committee?
We have 41 elected registered Republicans who passed petitions, raised their hand, said, I will join the committee. And basically what we do is we work together to raise funds, help candidates pass petitions, do lit drops, do mailings, do whatever we can to help them get elected. Now, in all fairness, and I should have said this to Joe, but I didn't, at no point in time, Glenn sent us a letter that he was going to be the candidate back in late December, I believe it was. I'd met with him in November and had probably the first time I'd really ever had a lengthy conversation with him, and it was a good conversation. But I didn't know if he was going to run or not. And then he came forward in December and said he was going to take the shot at it. I've had no conversations with the county, and this is something that I'd like to put to rest. People are saying that the Republican committee, the county Republicans, are supporting Bob Rustino. Well, they've never even talked about it, at least in our executive committees with the county. I'm on the executive board. We had a meeting in March. We endorsed all the candidates going across except for the city council, other than Ken Tompkins, and they were mostly races that were uncontested. Glenn didn't come, and that would be one other area that I would be concerned about. Glenn didn't ask to come and present his positions and his story.
Now, let me interrupt you a bit. I just want to know, just to clarify something. The people who want an endorsement, they have to come and request it?
You have to ask for it. I mean, sure.
Okay. Did Glenn come and ask for it this time?
No, I reached out to Glenn.
You reached out to Glenn to come and be interviewed?
Yes.
And then did he say he wanted an endorsement? Or he would like the endorsement?
Yeah, he said he'd like the endorsement.
Okay. Because earlier I talked to you and you said you were thinking about talking to Rustino and thinking about Rustino.
And I was thinking about Glenn, too.
Right. And
that was in March.
Did Rustino ask for the endorsement?
No.
So, I mean, could you give it without him? Say he didn't ask.
Why would I do that?
I don't know. I'm just.
Why
I'm
would I
just-
recommend to the committee?
I don't know, but because when I first talked to you, you told me, here's what you said. I go, are you guys interested? I hear that Bobby Rustino is possibly being considered to be endorsed by your party. At that time, you told me, Glenn, you said nobody else
Has asked.
has asked to run or said they were going to run.
Nobody's asked us for an endorsement.
And you told me at that time, we haven't made any decision.
We hadn't.
And that Rustino hasn't asked for the endorsement.
That's correct.
But you said, but I am open to anything because I'm looking for the best for the city. That's what you told me.
That's always been my position.
And that's fine, but my question is, so now that you've talked to Glenn, you said your committee goes to the county committee to
Here's
make-
what'll
to make
happen.
the- Yeah.
We'll meet, I think it's in 2 weeks. We'll meet, the discussion will come up. We already have a memo kind of putting together all of our notes from the conversations. We'll present that to the open committee. And at that point in time, I'd hope to have a conversation with the county before that, just to make sure that I'm legally and following the processes of the county. But at the moment, we haven't even talked about it in a greater group. We just spoke about it for the first time on Saturday with the 7 people that were in the room.
But who makes the final decision, the county or the city,
The
or
votes.
everybody?
The votes.
Votes. Okay.
So the county would have a meeting then and say, recommendations made to endorse Glenn Chilokee in the city of Niagara Falls. Who votes yes and who
Okay,
votes no?
being that you are the Republican chairman of the city,
Correct.
are you planning, even if you don't endorse Glenn, are you planning to kick money into his campaign? Because I understand this is a very expensive campaign.
Oh, it's going to be a very expensive campaign,
Yeah.
and we don't have that kind of assets to contribute when you think about the fact that I've really focused on putting the assets into this council races and into the legislative races. As far as the mayor's race is concerned, I can't see us making.
How could you say, we want to put it into the council, but the head guy, the mayor, you're kind of passing that over saying.
Well, I haven't said that yet, but I'm just saying that, I am saying that the candidates have come to us, laid out their positions, everybody but Glenn. They've spoken to the committee of the whole.
Yeah.
And we've already started work. We're 3.5 months down the road, working with them in terms of building budgets and trying to allocate and figure out what kind of monies we have available.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, we also have to maintain some sort of a residual because we need funding going forward on things.
Does the party, like your end of it, does the party have some fundraisers or something? I know Bobby had one, I know Glenn had one.
We've raised probably in the last 9 months about $12,000.
Okay.
I still don't know what our last fundraiser, I haven't just done the numbers yet, what the total tally on that one was. But when I looked at the filings that we had made with the state, I think it was around $12,000 we had accumulated so far.
And there's probably more to come.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely more to come.
But so if you make more of this money, at this point, you say you're putting it into the council and not the mayoral race?
I don't know. Nobody's voted on it. Nobody's even discussed it. So I think at this point in time, all I could say is I'd like to allocate, monies to the council races.
Yeah.
If we've got funds available after we committed to those other 3 individuals, and we could go to the mayor's race, yeah. I mean, but are we going to walk in there with a bushel barrel full of cash?
I don't know, but I do know, and Joe made sense. This could be a good sweep for the
It could be.
Republicans
It
if
could
they
be.
pick up all the
be.
council and the mayor's seat. They're in good shape.
I don't deny that. I mean, that's evidently, a very possible thing. I just want to make sure that I cover all of my bases so that I don't create anarchy in my group. So.
We're at 333-3020. We're talking with Bill Carrol. He's the Republican City Chairman, and we've got more to come. There's time for you to get in about another half hour. If you're watching on a Monday night, about another half hour from this point, Monday night, to call in, 333-3020. Let's get real for a moment. When you're looking for a home appliance repairman, what do you look for? Well, in most cases, you look for someone who can do the job honestly and do it correctly the first time. Then you look for someone who's reasonable, someone who's going to give you a fair price for the work he does. Well, I got one that's even better than that. He'll give you the best price you're going to ever hear. His name is Chris Moore, and his service call is $35. Got a problem with the stove, refrigerator, freezer, washer, dryer? Hey, you name it. If it's a home appliance, Chris can fix it, and he does it for a $35 service call, plus the cost of the parts and installation. Now, I don't know of any other repairman who's had as much experience, over 30 years, as Chris Moore, who will come to your home for a $35 service call. You know, once you have Chris at your house, you're going to want him back again and again and again, and you're going to recommend him to all your friends and relatives. So you want to have that phone number handy. So what do? Well, let's update. Let's not put it on a piece of paper and stick it somewhere where it's going to get lost or fall off, dry up, and disappear. Put it in your cell phone where you know you can find it when you need it. Because you know someday you will need Chris Moore's number. It's 523-5911. Chris Moore's Appliance Repair. $35 service call plus the cost of the parts and installation. 523-5911. Put that in your cell phone right now. Bill Carroll's with us, the Republican City Chairman. We're talking politics. Time to get in. If you'd like to call 333-3020, let it ring. When we pick up, we'll talk to you.
What I'd like to hear from people is I'd like to hear what their thoughts are, not only on the condition of the city, the management of the city, but also what they would do differently. So if any of the listeners are out there want to take a shot at those things, I'd love to hear what your comments are.
I am really, I'm kind of dismayed because, and Glenn said, and again, I want to reiterate that all the candidates are welcome to appear on this show. I'll give you the email and the phone number. If there is no candidate at this point barred. Glenn said he would come here on a regular basis. He's made that request right from the start. He'll be welcome throughout the campaign. Mr. Restaino said he will contact us following the primary, so it's following the primary. We're waiting to hear from him. Any candidate that wants some time, I'll give them a day, a month, or whatever they need to come and state their case. But I have yet to hear anything that grabs me that says that's the guy we want. You hearing anything exciting, Bill? I mean, I'm hearing the same. We're gonna reach out. We're gonna create business. We're gonna make it friendly. I've heard this for years. How many years have you heard the same stuff?
20 or more.
Yeah, right.
25.
I'm waiting for that golden, whatever it is, bit of knowledge. Here's what we're gonna do, and here's how I'm gonna do it.
There is no golden parachute. It's not going to come down. It's somebody actually stepping up to the table and making the hard decisions.
333-3020. Hi, you're on the air with Bill Carroll.
Yeah, I just got in the door. I'm out of breath. I got to ask Mr. Carroll, regarding what Mr. Panetta just said there about, have you made up your mind? Seems like you made up your mind already. I mean, you've been, I haven't heard one word out of your mouth about Chilokee and the Republic. I mean, what makes you a Republican? Republicans are supposed to be smaller government, higher finance, anti-abortion, military, the U.S. military, not, rainbow flags over City Hall, wasted money on art. I mean, those are purely like Democrat, liberal, progressive ideas. And, as a Republican chairman, you'd think that you would run the opposite direction from those ideals. And
I want a smaller government. I want a government that's under control fiscally.
You're in the Restaino corner. Admit it. Say it.
I'm not.
Say you're going to endorse them.
I'm not.
You've had all this time. You've been out there. Now you're just going to wait for the last minute to do it?
Why would I'm not going to endorse him. He hasn't even asked me to endorse him.
The conservatives have ideals.
I beg your pardon?
And what's seen from this, the corner you're in, their things don't, I don't want to insult the other candidate, but their ideals don't line up with what it means to be a Republican, capital R, conservative. And I guess you don't care because the city is like so brainwashed, so sedated. I mean, you could slide under the cover of, there's really nothing in Niagara Falls. What party's gonna, what does it mean? What it means is someone's gonna get taken care of for favors. Nothing's changed in Niagara Falls for 50 years, Mr. Carroll. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what favors you're talking about, but it's certainly not for me.
Oh, favors to come, jobs. Come on.
I want to see Niagara Falls jobs created in Niagara Falls. I don't want them created at the behest of the city government.
Don't change the subject. My question was, you're a Republican. What does it mean to be a Republican?
And I started to answer, and you walked away from me.
Say that again?
I said I started to answer you, and you talked away from me.
No, stick to the point. You started talking about you want a nice city. Go ahead.
I didn't say a nice city. I said I want a city that has a smaller government, that is fiscally responsible with their monies. I want to see a budget that's balanced, and I want to bring taxes back down from $17 and something cents per house or per thousand to something that makes us attractive to invest in.
So the Democratic candidate for mayor in Niagara Falls, you're convinced he's the one then?
I haven't said that at all.
Indications in your... I'm sorry?
I haven't said that. I haven't written that. I haven't made any implications of that whatsoever. I just met with the Republican candidate for the first time on Saturday, on Saturday.
Okay, and what'd you think?
I've got some concerns.
I wasn't here for the whole show.
Okay, I apologize.
I apologize.
No, that's all right.
I'll
I'll mention it again. There were some things that I had some reservations about. I'll be honest. He's extremely dynamic in terms of his enthusiasm and his passion. I happen to believe that the Discovery Niagara trolley is a strong investment that the city has made, and now it's being diversified and paid for through the county, through the bed tax. I don't believe, he had some questions about U.S.
Oppose that? What's that got to do with him? Make me know.
I beg your pardon? I'm pointing out the things that I reflected positively on.
Oh, he did. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He reflected very positively, but his concern was that he didn't know if the trolley brought value to the city of Niagara Falls. I happen to think it does, significant value.
Taking everybody out of Niagara Falls to escape, to go swimming at the fork, it's a great thing. But
Well, I disagree with that. I disagree with that, but that's, fine.
That's okay. That's conjecture.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the Republican, I mean, you met with them. I mean, are we going to hear in a few days, it was a tough decision, but we had to go with the Democrats?
We're not going to be endorsing Bob Rustino. If anything, my estimation would be that we not make an endorsement. I will tell you one thing. This is a very positive experience, even though you're jumping all over me. The fact that tells me that Glenn has a strong base. I don't know that.
Okay. Well, you're the Republican candidate. If you didn't spend so much
I'm not a
time
candidate.
in the
I'm the
Democratic
Republican.
team, you'd see that. If you came around, you'd see that. If you hung out with them for more than a month, the meeting doesn't mean anything. A couple of meetings is nothing. You should walk around with them, do something. I mean, that's what I would do.
Well, thank you.
Now, another thing, quick question. Are you affiliated with the Conservative Party at all?
No.
I mean, they are everywhere else in the country.
What do you mean? I am a conservative. I'm a Republican conservative, almost to the point of being a libertarian.
The Conservative Party evolved. Anti-abortion.
I'm a little bit more social liberal, but I am a fiscal conservative.
Oh, you're a social liberal.
No, I didn't say that. I said I'm a bit more, sir. I didn't say that. I said I'm.
The future. Where do you see the city in 5 years, Mr. Carrol?
Well, unless we do something dramatic, we're going to be in trouble. We're not going to be existing, at least under the current conditions.
I'm waiting for an answer.
He just gave you an answer. He said if we don't make changes.
I said, where do you see it? Where do you see it?
Niagara Falls will still draw tourists to the city.
The city will be in receivership, or we're going to get
We're
ahead.
probably going to be, unless some dramatic financial changes are made in the city, we're on the verge of insolvency. I don't believe the state will ever put us into a receivership, however.
All right. Take care, Mr. Carrol.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for hanging in there.
Thank you for your call. 333-3020. Bill Carroll's with us. We're talking about, people are passionate about this election.
They are, and that's great.
But again, and I'm going to say the same thing, still, nobody has said anything that grabs me yet to say this is how we're going to solve this problem. And frankly, I don't really see how we're going to solve the problem, except if the casino money comes in and we go back to the same old, we pay everything off because of the casino money, and that's how we keep riding it out.
The funny thing about the casino money, the Senecas are a private company. Literally, there's very little public distribution of financial information now that they've paid off the notes to the investor that helped them build it. So you really have to go and look at what the state of New York is collecting from the other casinos around the state. And every single one, their numbers are underperforming what the state forecasted. That tells me that maybe the Niagara Seneca Casino isn't doing as well as it had been.
Okay.
I don't know. So if that's the case, that $25 million, of which 20-some-odd% of it was allocated to the hospital, to the USA Niagara, to NFTA for paying for the 55 team, that number is going to shrink, and Niagara Falls is going to get less. Are we going to get $15 million if everything went back to the way it was? Or are we going to get even a lesser number? We're 10.2 upside down now on it? And this year it'll be bigger, meaning
I think as the state adds casinos,
competition
they're
takes
going
a-
on, but they're lowering the take at the Seneca and all over.
Exactly.
You said something that kind of piqued my interest. You said maybe we need another state casino here to straighten this whole thing out.
Well, we were kind of set the background a little bit. We were talking about what would be some of the possibilities of changing the paradigm that we're in right now. And I just kind of raised, if I'm not mistaken, the state of New York owns one licensing agreement that was passed, 4 years ago. And I wonder, maybe at some point in time, the state may decide to put a state-operated casino in Niagara Falls, like they did down in Binghamton or they've done in Albany. Possibly.
And so if they did that, that would definitely conflict with the agreement they have with the Senecas.
But the agreement with the Senecas expires in 2023.
Right.
So could competition come into the door the day after?
What if we had a whole bunch of casinos here?
I don't know if you can legally, because the state owns the controlling elements of it. So I don't know if you could get Resorts International and Wynn and, the MGM. I think you're limited on that. But regardless, you're beyond the scope of my knowledge on anything like that. So speculating on it, just as far as I'm concerned, silly. But I do know that the state has, I'm confident that the state has one space available to insert a casino. Could that be the solution down the road from the city's perspective? Possibly. But so could a lot of other things. I mean, we're sitting on the fastest growing market in North America, in Toronto. Property values over in Niagara, from Niagara County, Ontario, going west towards Hamilton, are blowing up. Their values are increasing. We've got to do things like trying to get the GO train to come across here. We've got to make people visiting Niagara Falls a simpler path for them to get here. I don't have any problems with the trolley and taking people to Fort Niagara because they're coming back to the hotels. They're having dinner in the restaurant.
Hold on a minute. Trolley is a sore thing with me.
I know it is.
Because we're giving them, how many millions do we give them?
It's about $500,000.
About $500,000 a year?
But we're not giving it to them. It's coming out of the bed tax.
Okay, it comes out of the bed tax. We give them $500,000 and they go, well, they stay here longer.
They do.
So they stay another night and we give them $500,000 and how much of that do we get back from the bed tax?
5% basically, plus the sales tax, plus employment. I mean, it's the whole concept of adding a bed,
So if you have somebody here and they go on the trolley and they go to Lewiston and they come back and stay one more night and they spend $100 or $100, $200, whatever they spend for rooms here.
$250 and up to $500.
I don't stay down here, but okay. So we get 5% of that. Does that make up for the $500,000 we give the trolley for? I mean, how many?
It's an investment, but we're not giving him. It's not coming out of your pocket. It's not coming out of my pocket.
It's coming out of somebody's pocket.
Yeah,
Bill.
the bed tax. The bed people that are coming in here and paying that $300 a night.
You know what? That's like saying, that's like the stupid. We didn't pay for that $600,000 statue.
Oh, we did.
Of course we did, and we're paying for the trolley.
We write the check, but the funds are available based on what the bed tax revenue has created.
I got it, but it's still money that, I mean,
Would we be entitled to it?
I don't know.
No.
I mean, somebody set that up. So, I mean, if I was a politician and I had some control, I would say, do I want to spend $500,000 on a trolley that's going to bring back not a big.
It doesn't bring it back in $10 bills. It brings it back in nickels and dimes and quarters.
333-3020. We're talking to Bill Carrol. Hi, you're on the air.
I'm calling back. First of all, we don't give them $500,000. I believe the city end is $100,000.
Well, the total contribution to we haven't done. 2 years ago, it was $500,000. I think the city
It's not all coming from the city.
Correct, it's not.
All right. We're donating a portion, along with Lewiston, I think, and Youngstown. And the eventual
Now it's countywide.
county, not yet. Their plan is for Lockport next year.
Well, but it passed the legislature.
Right, it already passed. But we're not giving them $500,000. I do agree. It brings them back in, and they're spending money. Now, you asked a question earlier before that caller. What would you see differently in Niagara Falls? Well, first of all, if I was the mayor of Niagara Falls, the first thing I would do is that you have to start with the unions. They have to do something. And then I would tell them, this is what's going to happen. I can't do this alone. My next call will be to the governor's office for state help, whether it's a control board, a financial control board, soft board. No one's going to do this himself. Glenn, Badgerstein, or anybody.
I agree.
You have too much of a deficit to fill, and you have to make drastic cuts, like you said. You have to make the hard choices. And the only way you're going to do it is you have to get financial help, whether it's from the federal, state, even the county, whatever. They have to get on board to move this city forward. Or all we're doing is like throwing a life jacket on the city and say sink or swim, and we're just staying afloat in casino revenue.
Joe, I agree. I agree 100% with you. At the end of the day, the city has to have partners to solve this. We've got to take down that damn Chinese wall that we've built around the city for the last 12 years. And it's got to be almost an intervention with all parties involved. I agree 100%.
They got to stop the egos up at the council and the egos in the administration. They need to sit down once and for all and say, we are elected. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. This is like a national election. It's a local election. We have to solve our problems. We have to solve them behind closed doors. Can't go on TV grandstanding and crying the blues. We got to solve our problems. Let's not air our dirty laundry out there. It's already out there.
Well, let me take it one more step. It's interesting. Today's what, the 29th or 30th of July? 29th of July. The city audit conducted by outside auditors. Where is it?
Where is it? Who knows?
I mean,
I
find it usually comes out the second week in June.
We've had 7 mayors in the last 55 years. What has improved of our 7 mayors? What has actually happened to this city of Niagara Falls?
I think tourism has grown.
I think they're going to grow because it has to grow. They're already here. But
I think there's more and more. I think there's more tourism in Niagara Falls than there has been.
I hear there's 7 million,
I don't believe
9
that
million,
number.
wonder.
I don't believe that
But it's always it's been the same forever.
Listen, I saw today in the Buffalo News or in the Gazette that the Wonderland project is starting to get another batch of life.
I saw. Well, but how much of that's manufactured life?
Well, you're right. But you know what they say? Niagara Falls is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, right? I got the Wonder Falls in there now. Wondering whenever it's going to take effect. All right, because it's never going to happen. Destino wants to do something downtown. This administration is trying to shoot it down. They're a lame duck administration. Butt out. Try to solve your problem, because he's not going to leave a good budget for the next mayor. Why should they? They don't have to answer to nobody after this one.
Oh, they're not going to have the budget's going to be shot.
They don't care. They're riding out in the sunset. But since them lackeys took over, tearing Niagara Falls down, riding their white horse, shit on our city streets for years, what has actually improved in Niagara Falls?
I think I really do believe the tourism industry has expanded in the city in terms of the volume of people coming in. We have more rooms than we've ever had before, and they're occupied.
What is there to do?
But we've got to get them to spend more and more of the time here.
You're occupied for a few months, and then it comes a desert land down because there's nothing to do.
Exactly.
There's nothing to do down here.
And we've got to develop, we have to develop resources, the tools to bring trade shows in here. Look what's going on across the river.
Yeah.
Look at it every day out my living room window.
I know you do.
4th of July weekend, it was such a congestion screw-up down here.
Yep.
Because they're blaming the Canadian government for not opening.
Joe, it's been like that every year. I worked downtown for 22 years, and every 4th of July, every Labor Day, the bridges, everything are backed up. That don't mean nothing. That's been going on for years.
The Canadian government for not opening up enough inspection lanes. Yeah. Bottom line is this: they had nobody out directing traffic. We had them out, but they were overwhelmed.
No, they were.
We need whoever becomes the next mayor needs to give the tools to the department heads and run the city the way it needs to be run. And they need to go to the state and get help. So and keep the trolley going, Sal. We're going to get Sal a nice cushion seat on the trolley.
You know what? I'm going to take him on a tour. I'm on the board of directors.
Let Sal ring the bell. Let Sal ring the bell.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the board of directors. I'm gonna bring him on a tour.
What are you going to do? You're going to take me to Lewiston? Let me see Lewiston?
I'll take you to Lewiston.
I've seen Lewiston.
Fort Niagara.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Let me take my money out of the city and go somewhere else. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for your... Yeah, we're at 333-3020. Bill Carroll's with us. Yeah, I'll go out of town. That's a good idea.
I don't know. I love it.
At the Wellness Park Pharmacy at 86th and Buffalo Avenue and the Community Medical Pharmacy on Michigan Avenue just off Main Street, you're not just another customer, and your needs are important. To them, you're a somebody.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
Now under new ownership, both pharmacies will see to it that you get the personal service that you deserve. Want to give them a try? Then call right now, 260-1918, and tell them you want to switch your prescriptions over to the Wellness Park Pharmacy or Community Pharmacy in Niagara Falls. They'll make all the phone calls to make it happen. And both pharmacies offer free home prescription delivery. And when you have them on the phone, be sure to ask about their wide selection of CBD products. Available in creams, oils, gummies, and much, much more. Get all the details today by calling 260-1918. The Wellness Park Pharmacy at 86th and Buffalo Avenue and the Community Medical Pharmacy on Michigan Avenue just off Main. Call 260-1918.
Where everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. Where everybody...
Bill Carroll's with us. We got about 15 more minutes on the program. If you're listening on a Monday night, it's 7:15. You got about 15 more minutes if you want to call in, 333-3020. Bill is the Republican city chairman.
After the last two phone calls, I wrote something down I want to read.
Yeah.
The opinions expressed by me are mine and not the Republican Party or the committee.
Let me just add one
The
thing.
opinions expressed on NiagaraBroadcastNetwork.com are those of the host and the guest, not of management or the sponsor.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Thanks for busting my chops.
So you're talking to a lot of tourists now.
I am.
Okay. So what tourists are we seeing here that are coming to the city? Who are we seeing? Are we seeing mostly U.S., mostly
I'd say it's about 50-50.
Oriental,
We're seeing a
mostly
lot. The
Indian? What?
The Oriental tour and the Indian, well, both of them actually. The Oriental and the Indian nationalities tend to come as part of a tour group. The problem that we have is that they're coming in here on a bus. They've been to Washington, they've been to New York, Boston, wherever it may be, and they're spending a night here in the city. The bus takes them all around to the different places and the attractions in town. And then typically, they're on their own for dinner. The individual traveler is coming in, and I've seen a lot of people that are going to Cooperstown, for example, baseball tournaments, children with their families, and they come here for a night or two. I'm seeing more and more people traveling independently. I met somebody from Nepal the other day. Today I worked with a man from Uganda.
Well, yeah, they've always come. They've come from all over the world
But
to see
they're
the
selling
falls.
out the rooms. They're selling out the rooms, and they're always looking for things to do. I spoke to a lady today.
Who's selling out these rooms? This is John Percy's deal?
Well, I think a lot of them are coming from tourism, Niagara Tourism USA, I should say.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of them are coming from that. The tour groups, I think, are a direct tie to.
So how does the Destination USA, whatever it is, how are they bringing these people in? Do they go?
I think a lot of those are through the tours.
Do they go to those companies and say, "Hey, look, you want to see some water falling over the rocks? Come to Niagara Falls."
I think-
as if they never thought of that before.
Well, I think that they're doing it. I mean, I don't know if they thought about it in the past or not. But I think the individual family tours companies that are coming into town, I see more and more of that.
Okay.
The off-season, the May, May and June in particular, you saw a lot of the bus tours coming in. You still do. Every night they roll into town. I drove past the Sheridan this morning, and there were 3 buses sitting outside. So you see that. But the problem we have is that there's just no continuity. And then the weather's hurt us. I mean, I imagine Pat Proctor's
I
business.
got all that, Bill, but Niagara Falls has been a famous, I mean, it's famous forever.
Sure.
I mean,
Since Father Hennepin got here.
Niagara Falls is in everything. How many years ago?
Niagara Falls. Slowly I turned, and step by step, inch by inch, I walked up to him and I smashed my head. I bumped him, I tore him to pieces, and I knocked him down.
How many years, Bill?
It's been probably 50, maybe 60.
It's famous. Niagara Falls is famous without the trolley.
It is.
Without.
But if we can keep people here, I mean, what's the disposable income? What's the aggregated dollars that they spend? I mean, people are going into the Red Coach Inn and spending, $75 for a couple for dinner. They're going over to the casino. We need to develop more of a homegrown tourism business.
And we've said this for years.
We have.
What are we doing about it?
The city has done, I think, very little about it. I mean, why do we have a meeting in July with the president of USA Niagara and the mayor's, the administrative manager for the city? Why are they walking the streets the week after July 4th? Why aren't they doing that in March and February? I mean, a lot of this, why aren't we, the fireworks display? I'm not going to weigh in on my personal opinion about fireworks, but why is that suddenly brought to the city council the week before the 4th
Well, that's
of July?
another thing. That's another a sore subject with me. Our city is so broke. They made a big deal out of the fireworks.
Yep.
They spent $25,000 on something, in 15 minutes it's blown off.
Yep.
It's gone. Couldn't they have done something better with that?
And don't forget, they had to pay for the overtime for the policemen.
Absolutely.
And then on Saturday of that weekend, if I'm not mistaken, I think the police also had overtime or double pay that day because of the holiday weekend. So I think our way of going about planning things, we don't put any kind of key performance indicators against them. We don't measure against any of the successes of these things, and it just boggles my mind how we do it. 4th of July comes every year on the 4th of July. Why is it walked up?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. Why is it walked on to the last city council meeting in June? Why?
I don't understand that they said that there was people willing to pay for it, but the mayor turned it down.
He did.
And then, and this was unofficially, then the credit union, Niagara's Choice, says, we'll pay for it. And they said, oh, okay. What is that about?
Politics?
And how is the credit union paying, how does that help politics? What did that?
I'm just assuming that the knee-jerk reaction against it was political, because it was Restaino versus the mayor. That's my only take on it. I don't have any inside knowledge.
Was Restaino ready to pay for those fireworks?
He had the money from Joe Ciccone, Chrysler.
I heard him and Joe Ciccone had put the money together.
Right.
And that
I don't
was-
know. I didn't.
No, I don't. I haven't heard officially because they keep all this stuff under wraps. But I heard it was denied, and then
After Joe's calling me, I'm not sure if anybody will ever tell me anything anyway. But I do understand that there was an offer on the table. Ken Tompkins had told me about it.
okay. Well, I want to say I'm a little more enlightened right now.
You are?
I'm really not. We'll come right back to wrap this up for tonight.
Only your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer has genuine parts, accessories, trained service technicians, and the widest selection of innovative Cub Cadet products. We're here for you whenever you need us, with expert service and support to keep your equipment running at peak performance for years to come. Take advantage of exceptional financing at your local Cub Cadet dealer today.
Stop by your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer, Niagara Lawn and Garden Equipment, today.
Go see Mike Richards out there on Route 31, just off Military Road, Niagara Lawn and Garden. And if you're not lucky enough to have a Cub Cadet, maybe your lawnmower didn't start or you need some special equipment for your yard, go out and see what they got. Great selection, great prices, and I hear the best mechanics in the area. Bill Carroll's with us.
I just had one comment that I wanted to make, and it was kind of addressing the two callers that spoke about the mayor's race. I think at the end of the day, it's easy for people to sit there and say, why aren't we doing this? Well, we really just took this process under consideration as recently as this past 2 weeks.
The process of
Discussing an endorsement.
from the Republican Party.
For the mayor's office. We just endorsed at our meeting the week prior, which was our regularly July scheduled meeting, we just endorsed John Spanbauer and the 3 legislative candidates.
Who are?
David Zajac, John Accardo, and Rob Bilson.
Okay.
So we endorsed all 5 of those. We wrote up a little memo and we sent it to the county. Now, the county had already endorsed the legislative candidates, and they'd also endorsed Kenny Tompkins. So that was done. So now we'll take our endorsement, send it back to them just so that they know what we did. And we'll also send back our notes on the mayor's race. Before we do that, I will have a meeting with the committee and ask them, who's all in favor. I'll entertain a motion.
Do you have a gut feeling? Do you have a gut feeling on whether or not Glenn Chalokian will be endorsed by the Republicans? You already said you're not going to endorse Restaino.
Correct.
But what's your feeling? What's your gut feeling as the local chairman on Chalokian? Gets it or doesn't?
It's a hard question, so my gut feeling.
I do the hard questions. That's what I'm known for. That's
So-
why a lot of people will come on this show.
I think I'd have to have him. He'd have to come in and do some campaigning. That's just my personal take. I think he'd have to come in and do some campaigning.
Will you let us know when a decision is made?
Yes.
Yes or no,
Yes.
or what you're going to do?
Yes.
I really would like. I would like to. And I want to invite any of your candidates to appear on the show.
I plan to have all of them come on.
They're all welcome.
Perfect.
We're at. I'll tell you the number if you want to reach us. 283-8207. That's our business office. 283-8207. If you'd like to appear on the show, or you can email us at NBN Niagara Broadcast Network 7900@gmail.com. People want to get a hold of you or want to get involved, or how do they do that?
Simply call me at 284-4159. Send me an email. It's williamcarroll1953@gmail.com. Or call you.
You can call me. I'll put them in touch with you, sure.
I'd love to talk to people. And the second gentleman, I don't know who it was that called beside Joe, which I think Joe is very insightful. I'd like you to reach out to me also. After my last meeting here in March, Joe did reach out to me, and I've talked to him a number of times since then.
Joe is
He's passionate.
Yeah, he's following up on this
smart.
political stuff, and I'm surprised he doesn't belong to some of these committees and are active. I know hasn't been feeling that good for the past couple of years. He's gone through a lot, but he's got a lot of ideas.
Tell you what, Joe, I'm coming over to your house right now. I'll be out in front. Take you by a beer.
Bill, thank you. Bill Carrol, ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic Republican chairman, and you are, along with all the candidates, welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Sal.
Thank you.
Swirling cool and misty breezes give your cheeks a lover's glow. Love is in the air in Niagara Falls. Honeymooners everywhere in Niagara Falls. Cable cars, the maid of the mist, your first ride, you're gonna be kissed. 8 or 80, you'll find true love calls. When you're captured by the magic of Niagara Falls.